There's a house that everyone in the town knows not to go near. They say it's haunted, and the warnings go back generations. Parents warn their kids, and those kids grow up to warn their own. But no one ever really says why. One day, a group of curious teenagers decided they would be the ones to figure it out. They gathered outside the iron-wrought gates that encased the decaying Victorian mansion. The sky was dark and heavy with the promise of rain, and the wind whispered ominously through the surrounding trees. As they pushed open the gate, it creaked loudly, almost like a warning. They hesitated, but moved forward, walking down the cracked stone pathway toward the front door. The air grew colder with each step, and a sense of dread hung thick in the atmosphere. When they reached the entrance, the door swung open on its own. Inside, the house was freezing. Their breath fogged in front of them, but there was no wind, no draft to explain the cold. The group stepped inside, each one of them gripping their flashlights tightly, though the beams barely penetrated the darkness. The house smelled of dampness and decay. The wallpaper was peeling, revealing moldy walls, and the floor creaked with each step. One of the group, Mark, walked ahead of the others, shining his light up the staircase. "Do you think anyone lives here?" he whispered. But before anyone could answer, they heard it, a faint, rhythmic thumping coming from above, like something or someone was moving. Ignoring the feeling in their guts telling them to leave, the group slowly ascended the stairs, the thumping sound growing louder. The staircase groaned under their weight, and the air became even colder. At the top of the stairs, a long hallway stretched before them. Doors lined both sides, each one closed, except one at the very end. The door at the far end was open, revealing a dimly lit room. The group exchanged uneasy glances and moved forward. Inside the room, an old rocking chair sat in the center, gently moving back and forth, though no one was there. Dust floated in the air, illuminated by a faint, flickering light coming from a lamp in the corner. Suddenly, the thumping sound stopped, replaced by something far worse, a child's soft giggle, echoing from the shadows. They froze, and then from the darkness, a small figure emerged. The figure stepped into the light. It was a little girl, no more than 8 years old, but something was wrong. Her eyes, they were pitch black. She stared at the group, a slow smile curling on her lips. "Do you want to play?" she asked, her voice sweet but dripping with malice. Before they could react, the door slammed shut behind them, trapping them in the room with the girl. The group scrambled, trying to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. The temperature in the room dropped even further, and the girls started to hum a tune, a haunting melody that seemed to echo in their heads. As panic set in, Mark grabbed a chair and smashed it against the window, but the glass wouldn't break. Instead, the shadows in the room grew darker, twisting and moving as if alive. Suddenly, the girl's humming stopped, and her expression changed. "She's coming," she whispered, her eyes wide with fear. The group froze. "Who's coming?" one of them asked. But before the girl could answer, the temperature plummeted, and a deep guttural growl filled the room, vibrating through the walls. Suddenly, the door flew open, but instead of offering an escape, it revealed a tall, dark figure standing in the doorway. The figure was shrouded in shadow, its features indistinguishable, but its presence was overwhelming, pure evil. Without a word, the figure stepped into the room, and the girl screamed. The lights flickered, and in an instant, the figure was gone. So was the girl. The group stood in the room, breathless and shaking, unsure of what had just happened. They didn't wait to find out. In a frenzy, they burst out of the house, not daring to look back. Some say the house still stands, waiting for its next visitors. Others say it finally collapsed under the weight of its secrets. But one thing is certain, no one who enters that house leaves unchanged.